Hello guys, it is Patrick here, Eggnoc Poker. New video today. I did promise you guys that we would be doing some more sessions on 10NL up to 100NL. We will still be doing that. The next video we'll be uploading will be the first one of those, so do check that out coming up in the next day or two. Obviously it'll be Christmas tomorrow, so I'm either going to upload Christmas evening, Christmas Day night, or potentially Boxing Day. We will see. In terms of today's video then, so we finished all our C bettings, advanced betting strategy guides. We're taking a small break from the micro stakes, and then we will be jumping back on them in a week or two's time, and we will be focusing on a couple of mixed stakes from 10NL up to 100NL over the next week or so. So that's what we're going to be doing in the next few weeks. As for right now, I'm a bit late with this one. This should have really been uploaded last week. This is a 5NL session, I believe, for one of my Discord members called Mr. Kickhappy over on Zone Poker. Never played on Zone, know absolutely nothing about Zone. I don't know if it's really, really whaley, really, really tight, fishy, nitty, super tough. I have absolutely no clue. I don't really have information either. All I've been told is that we were slightly laggy with the recording software, so maybe one or two small errors by accident due to that one. That's all I've got, so we'll see how we go. And again, as always guys, just before we start, please like, please comment, please subscribe, please join the group. In the description below is a links to my Discord and my Twitch. Finally, good news, our internet is finally upgraded after the last like 4.5-5 months, so I can actually start Twitch streaming properly, which is going to be really, really good. So again, we're going to be doing mostly the micro stakes challenge is where I'm going to be doing most of my volume on there. I'm going to be really kicking it up, putting in a lot of volume there coming up soon. I'm also going to be doing a couple of mixed stakes, but mainly focusing on the challenge. Maybe some mixed content for what people request, but anyway. So right, we're gonna jump straight in. This video is about 29-30 minutes in length. It is a little bit lengthy. I'm gonna try and do this. I mean, I always try and do this in one video, but I think longer than 30 minutes is too long for a review session. We'll see how we go. This will either be one video, maybe it'll be a second segment, which I'll upload tomorrow. We'll find out. We'll see. But anyway, let's just get started. So 5NL. Over on Zone Poker, so let's find out what Zone Poker is like, shall we? I have absolutely no idea how easy or how difficult this stake is, so as always we're just going to be backseating for the better or for the worse. Going to be doing this live. I haven't got any notes, I haven't got any information, I promise you. This isn't edited, this is all completely live with my feedback. If I feel like I've made any errors or if I'm not sure on a few spots, I will solve them and put them up on the comment section as well. So see how we go. So first of all, 8 deuce suited in the small blind. I don't know the rate structure of Zone, but I think 8 deuce suited is probably a little bit too wide. However, if you feel like your villains are generally folding often and folding a lot on the flop, you could probably get away with it, but it's a bit thin, just to say the least. It is very, very thin. But again, it's 5NL Zone Poker, isn't it? It's all unknown. The only thing I suppose with this one to take into note in consideration is the fact that we have no HUD information, do we? We have absolutely no clue who we're against at any point in the hand, unless there's any really serious tells that any player might have that we can pick up on to try and figure out who they are. But I'm just assuming we're completely unknown, aren't we? So there's not really going to be any reads going on. We're just going to be playing as fundamentally correct as possible. See if we can abuse, I'm assuming, a tight population, but we'll find out. I actually don't know the rake structure on here, so I don't know if we get raked pre-flop. I don't know if we're prioritizing 3-bet to take it down. I don't know if we're just playing tighter overall. I don't quite know what the rake is, or the rake structure. Probably would have been good to have found that out before, but we'll see how we go. Haven't even played a hand yet, so hopefully we find some. Ace-Jack in the small blind. That looks like a potential hand. Easy open with this one. As is the 8-5 suited, we can absolutely start opening that one. Nice difference between 8 deuce and 8-5. We can actually flop some straights with 8-5. We've got way more connectivity, whereas like 8 deuce and so on is just quite bad hands. This 10-6 deuce, I think I'm just trying to think population wise. I mean, technically we've got no backdoor flush draw. We don't really have any direct equity. Some of the backdoor cards that we can pick up equity on can improve villain as well. We've got all the slightly better hands, but I mean, I would probably be checking this one. It's up to you. If you feel like population like just fold to a lot of c betting, then maybe it's better just to c bet pure. I think 8-5 of diamonds there. I'd probably just let it go though. I've got all the other suited combos to go with. 7-7-6 here. I think I'd be going big or check. I think either are fine. I wouldn't be betting small. I'd be betting big. I mean, if you want to range bet, effectively fine, but theoretically we should be really betting big. And again, same here. We've got all the best over pairs, so we should be blasting. This is a really, really big bet. Or check again. I think, honestly, I would just go massive. I don't like having a heart or an 8, because those are some of the hands that we want villain to have that would fold on the try board, but whatever. Take it down. I would have liked a larger bet on the flop and a really, really large bet on the turn. I think would have been optimal. Easy pitch for the trade deuce. Queen 10, I suppose we can just about mix into a defend. Against a 3x, it's close. I don't think it's a mistake to defend, but against a 3x, Queen 10 is very, very close. On this texture, we could potentially have some check raises and some check calls, depending on size. Let's find out. Against this large size, I would fold. We've got really nice backdoors, but we're out of position facing a huge size, and we've got no over to the board. I would just be folding. Yeah, I could fold, I think. If villain had a different size, like a third, half, something like that, we can potentially look at calling or raising. King 8, just be pitching, I think, on table 1. Remember, by the way, guys, this is a review session. This is not me playing. This is me watching and backseeing. Big chick, table 1, ace queen. I think it is population. Again, I don't know if you're not getting raked pre. So, for example, if you're not getting raked pre-flop by taking it down, we're really incentivized to 3-bet even more than normal. We would be squeezing this a large percentage of the time anyway. I don't hate calling if you feel like population like are very tight and make a lot of like mistakes post-flop and you want to capitalize on that. But I think generally we're 3-betting most of the time. But fine, it is what it is. I don't think it's a mistake to call. We get a big blind defend, and now he's leading 10% or so of the pot. I think there's nothing else to do but call. I think raising's a mistake. We probably have the best hand a lot of the time. We never have an amazing spot here, but villain leads a sixth of the pot. I mean, and a call. We're in a weird spot now, aren't we? I mean, we're getting like 8-1 here or so on a call. I mean, it depends. I mean, you've got no information on villain, so we're just going with fundamental. Like, how good is our hand in range? Well, you've obviously got flushes. You've obviously got king, queen. You've got king X. You've got 8s. You can have 6s with a club. You can have equity hands with a flush draw, like ace jack with a club, for example. Although that probably would have 3-bet pre, I suppose. I mean, I don't think we ever need to bluff this. I don't think I would fold for this price. Like, I'm just assuming, like, we're 5-0, aren't we? So I'm just going to give every villain, like, Jack 9 off, like, in the big blind. He might lead. He might lead Jack 9 with a club. The guy might be calling with, like, Jack 10 of diamonds. Or he might be calling with, like, you know, you don't really know. Like, for this price, I would probably just call. I don't think I fold for this price. I'm not thrilled, but I just don't, I mean, I don't really see any reason for, I was going to say if we're going to do anything, it would be folding. I don't like raising. Like, if anyone's got a king or like a strong flush draw or combo or better or whatever, they're not folding. And we just have a hand that could just be good, like some of the time for that price. So if you feel like you're never good, I would just fold personally. If you're going to raise, maybe I'd have a club, but I think it's a bit aggressive. I would either call or fold. Easy open with the queen 6. Take it down. Against a 3x, I would probably just be folding jet suited. I don't think I'd be using that as a candidate to 3-bet with. Easy open ace-5 suited, as is the, well, we're in a defense with the ace-king, and unfortunately we get a walk. 8 deuce, easy fold. 4-6, easy fold. Just fast fold. Get yourself a fast fold button if you don't already have one. Absolutely speed up the amount of hands per hour you can get in. I don't like the way we're waiting and then scrolling to physically click fold. I would seriously consider getting a fast fold button. Like now we could just be folding and seeing the next hand with a jack 4. I don't know what we're doing here with jack 4 offsuit. I appreciate that people limping is weak, like is weakness, but yeah, I was gonna say we should just be folding jack 4. And we got a nice clear open with the 3s. We get 3-bet. So we've got one of the well, apart from deuces, we've got the second lowest pocket pair we're ever going to have here. Blind on blind, in theory we're almost always folding, never 4-betting. Very, very tiny amount of call, maybe 10%, probably less, I would think. We've got way better hands to call with than 3s. I don't think, also we just don't really realise very well we're out of position, and theoretically we're just against such a wide aggressive range that it's just very tough to play. If villain, you could argue that if you're against very tight recreationals, we don't know that because we don't have a HUD stat, do we? That you could argue that their ranges are capped at the type of hands that we know what board textures we can win and attack on and so on. But unless we hit a 3, even if we hit a 3, we're going to be against a very wide aggressive range. So we're not even kind of in a spot where we could get a lot of value, even if we hit the 3. If people are 3-betting anywhere near to what they're supposed to be. Blabbering aside, this is a very clear fold, almost always. Maybe you can mix in a call maybe 5-10% of the time, but we should be folding. I mean, there's no RNG here from what I can see, but I mean, I know this is 5 and L as well. I'm not saying we have to be taking advanced lines, but it's just very difficult to navigate. This is a good flop, though. This is a very, very good flop. We've got backdoor straight and flush draw. The board's good for our range. Villain shouldn't be 3-betting 4s or deuces a whole bunch. They don't have to 3-bet 9s. A whole bunch of their broadways miss. This guy bets pot. I mean, against pot, even with a club and a backdoor straight draw and a pair, it's awful, isn't it? It's awkward. I think I just fold for this price. Against that price, we can just have some better hands to defend, I suppose. Ace-8, easy folds. As is the 4-3. And 10-8. Excuse me. Sorry, I have a bit of a cough. I'll try and mute myself if I do cough. Yeah, nice easy open here with the jack 10 suited. We would usually be doing a decent amount of folding and some calling with a jack 10 against the button, but against that size, I can't ever see myself folding. Do pick up a nut shot with a 9. This is going to be a very difficult board to play, though. Against full pot, which is fold out position. You can defend. You've got jack 10 of diamonds. You've got jack 10 of hearts to defend here. Even against that size, I'd probably fold jack 10 of hearts against population. I'd just fold. Nothing else to do. I don't like the call because you're check calling out of position for pot, and there's not really there's very difficult to navigate. There is also a flush draw out there, so we've only got 3 clean outs. I'm not saying villain has to have a flush, but I just think it's just going to be very, very difficult to play. You're kind of on the assumption and the hopes and prayers that this guy checks back the turn, and then you try and bluff him off any value he could have had. I'm not without the turn, any bricks. For example, if he's got queens and jacks and 9s and 10s, but you're blocking a lot of those. So it's kind of just an awkward spot. I would have just folded the flop, I think, especially against a short stack rec as well. We pick up a double gutter, which is nice. I wouldn't do any leading though. I'm trying to think if a solver would do any leading. I don't think so, because we don't really get here with ace king, kings, aces. I don't think we lead with ace queen because we're at nut disadvantage. I think we play a lot of checks here, even if we had 8s or 7s, I think. And then in terms of combos, we can just have jack 10 of diamonds here. We can have jack. Do you see? We can have jack queen of hearts, backdoor flush draw, and so on. We'll see what villain does. This is tilting against full pot. We just have to fold. We've got no perceived fold equity versus 98 cents. Villain's nut range has improved. We block a bunch of bluffs. Yeah, I'd just be folding. It's unfortunate, but I would have folded on the flop. Sorry, what are we doing here? Table 2 with ace king. We decided to open. We got flatted. We can do some betting or checking. I don't mind both on table 2. Yep, check call's fine. We should be check calling. Yep, that's fine. And river, I guess this is a nice, easy, clear check. If we're ahead of 8-9, king, queen, king, you know, whatnot, we want to check. I don't like this donk because if villain had a hand like 8-9, they could still potentially bin us. And also, if we had a value hand, I wouldn't want to do this. But I don't think it's played. I mean, you might exploitatively do this with like a jack, just knowing that your villain might check back some hands. But I mean, still, like, I wouldn't be leading this. Anyway, let's see what happens. So we open cutoff with ace 4 suited. We get a donk. Yeah, I'm not surprised we lose table 2. It's very difficult to get called by anything worse. I suppose you could argue that you might fold off some chops, like some ace high chops, but I don't think villain has that many ace highs at bet flop and turn, honestly. Anyway, table 1, what do? We open ace 4 suited. We got a big blind defend. Facing lead, there's nothing else to do but call. We're ahead of like 4, 5, 5, 6. We've got an over, a backdoor flush draw. We've got equity against anything. Villain can absolutely lead this board a lot, like probably close to like half the time, maybe more. But I don't think he's doing that for that reason. So I mean, we don't know what 5 and L unknowns do. So it's just a call in position. We pick up double gutter. We've got a deuce and a 6 now. And we also could just be beating random hands like king 10 of hearts or whatnot. I don't know. We brick everything on the river. That's unfortunate. And see what the villain does. I would be folding king 10 off. It's too wide to open under the gun. We've got some queen jack, some frequency. We've got some king jacks. I think king 10's a bit weak. You look like you've got a wreck in the small and big blind, but I think king 10 off is a bit wide. Facing this lead, I'm trying to think if we beat any bluffs. I'm trying to think what bluffs villain can have. It depends. Like you're kind of hoping that your villain's got like 2 random overs that have missed the jack, like king 10 of hearts, I suppose. A little bit adventurous to then bet the turn when you picked up a flush draw and then randomly bluff over, like completely over bluff river. See, we've just got pairs here. We've got like, we can have some jack X as well because we float like jack X with hearts. We can just have like 9s and 10s and 8s and 6s and things here that block straights and some block some value, like some 7x blockers. I don't know if we'd ever call here with ace high. I mean, we block 4-6. I suppose we block 7-4 of diamonds, ace 7 of diamonds, but I don't think that's enough. Against half pot, I think I would just fold ace high. Maybe against a really tiny size, maybe there's some argument, but I think half is a fold. King 10 off, yeah, way too wide to open. We get like less than min 3 bet and a cold call. It's just a very easy fold. There's nothing else to say. If we were suited, I might call here, I suppose, some other time because we're in position against 2 fish with a suited hand. But offsuit, no. This is a mistake. Opening under the gun is too wide, but then getting 3 bet even for any size and a cold call. We're just dominated in all avenues of the ranges here. I don't care that I'm in position. We're against 2 short stack fish. I would have folded this absolutely. Pick up second pair. Now we're drowning. I have no idea where we are in the hand. Facing half pot again. Like now we've opened. We've called a 3 bet. The cold caller is now leading. So the cold caller and the villain, like both villains, could potentially have a hand like pocket queens. Maybe they would get that in. Maybe the big blind would potentially get that in with queens, but I don't know. Like queens are in there, ace queen is in there, king queen's in there, queen 10 suited. You know, recreationals like pocket 10s, even though we block that, pocket 8s, jack 9 suited. You know, like there's king queen, king jack. Like for draws, I don't know. Like there's a lot of hands here. I think I would honestly fold. Like I don't like being in this position at all. We're just drowning in the hand. That is a very good turn card though, I suppose. So this is a spot. I don't know multi-way very well, right? I'm just going to go with how population, I think, perceived plays, and that's probably quite tight, maybe a bit fishy or a bit whaley in some spots. So we block king queen suited, but again, I don't know how relevant it is at this stake. Maybe they just have like way more offsuit combos as well. Same with they might have more combos of hands that they're not supposed to, like jack 9 off, for example. I don't know. I think for the small blind to 3-bet us, check call the flop and check turn, unless they literally have quad queens or the case 10s. I don't think they have a made hand unless it's pocket jacks, right? So we could potentially be, that's the only perceived hand I think we're losing to with the small blind. For the big blind to bet the turn when check to, and then check. Sorry, bet the turn when check to, and bet the turn. Check the turn. Sorry. I don't think they have a queen anymore. I don't think they would have bet pocket jack. So unless we're destroyed by like a boat, I think we're ahead here, except the small blind having jack. So I actually think we're good here enough of the time to bet, and we can absolutely get some value from like some diamond draws. I mean, jack 10 suited, I suppose. That'd be diamonds, hearts. We get value from like 8-9 suited if villain's doing that. We might be able to get value from some ace jacks if these blinds are cold calling wide. I think I would do two choices here. I think I would either, I mean, there's nothing wrong with checking either, but I think we'll actually get some value. I would either bet quite small, like around sort of 25-30% to get some value from like nines, or like 10-9 suited, or 8-9 suited, or ace jack, for example, some flush draws. Or I would jam, and I would choose which part of my range is in there. That's what I think I would do. I don't mind either. I don't mind betting small or jamming with a 1-to-1 or 1.3 SPR. Maybe some check, but I think I just get it in, or bet small. I think both are okay for both reasons. You can get called by worse. If you jam, can we get called by worse? Tough, to be fair. I think I'd block. I don't like this like 2/3 size, because if you were going to go all in, you would go all in and get max value and max fold equity. And if you wanted to get some thinner value, you'd go small, I think. But it doesn't matter. Whatever. Who cares? It's not like the absolute end of the world, is it? But I think I would have gone a bit smaller than that. Nice open with the jack 10 suited. Very easy. The computer's talking to us. PC is not liking the recording. 5x open, easy fold. Very good board for our hand. Very good board for our range as well. So as the big blinds at some frequency, he's going to have pocket queens, but very low. But I suppose both villains could potentially have queen jack suited, some king queens, some flush draw combos. Pocket jacks, the big blind can have, the cutoff could potentially have, but we generally have more hands like queens, kings, aces. And then we've got like ace kings and so on as well, and then all the best hands that both villains have. So we're doing all right. I don't mind betting. I don't mind checking my way. I think both are fine. On the turn, we pick up more equity, but it's kind of like I don't mind betting to build the pot, but it's kind of hard to get called by worse hands, like directly worse hands than this. I don't just mean by equity. I mean like just made hands. But if I was going to bet, it wouldn't be pot. I think pot allows both. I think both villains have jack 9 suited. I think both villains have. I think at least the big blind is queen 9 suited. I think both villains absolutely have king 10 suited. The big blind could potentially even have king 10 off the way this pool looks like it's playing. Absolutely both villains have pocket nines now as well. So I think potting, I don't mind betting or betting, you know, like half pot, 2/3 or whatever, but I think I'd mainly be checking. And if I was going to bet, I wouldn't pot it. I think you just allow them to play too well. But anyway, let's see what happens. So we are absolutely filtering our villain's range to be quite strong here. I think we can do nothing else but check the river. I think there's no value to be had after betting huge on the turn. I think this is too thin. If we had something like ace jack of diamonds, king jack of diamonds, there's more warrant for it. But I think jack 10's just too thin. We'd have to check back the river now. I don't know if you can. I know you can't take notes, I suppose. If you can't get HUD stats, I don't think you can get any reads at all. But you've got a villain there in the big blind. He's flatting ace king off versus a raise and a call. So it's just, you can see that some of the population actually aren't as tight. Aren't as whaley as I thought some of them might be. So interesting. Easy open with the ace 2 suited and the ace king, obviously. This is a pretty good board for our range, but because we're blind on blind, like we don't just bet range all the time. Like if you were going to bet, I would mostly be betting small, maybe some of the time betting half, but very, 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 very small most of the time. Excuse me, on table 2. We can also just check because we also have a pair. We don't really need to worry about, I mean, protection is a thing, but like we don't just have to go ahead and bet our entire range all the time. So I don't mind checking or betting small. You decide. That's why you have an RNG, because it decides for you. Pick up a gut shot on the turn. I mean, I don't mind betting. It's another case of like, I suppose we're still preferring to check, but you can bet sometimes just to balance, you know, so you're not capping your turn checking range. So you're not saying you've always got like pocket threes to check the turn. You've got like king four suited. You've got like 5-6. Do you see what I'm saying? You haven't got like ace jack all the time. You're not, we are betting some middle of the road hands some of the time. So again, you can check or bet. It doesn't really matter too much. You wouldn't overbet the turn, I don't think, though, because villain can have 4s, 5-4, king 4, ace 3, and 3-6. So I think you'd be betting big, but not overbetting. Or checking, I suppose, if I had to guess. If we're checking, we're not folding though, because we've still got a pair of gut shot and over. So let's see what villain does. We 4-bet the ace king, table 1. I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep up with 2 hands at a time. That's why I'm pausing a lot. Yeah, so we open the ace king, big blind 3-bet. We 4-bet. I like the fact that we min 4-bet as a size. Really, really good. I don't think we should be doing that much calling or jamming. And on this board, we just want to be going bet jam against like ace queen suited, ace jack suited, ace 10 suited, whatnot. Yeah, and we're going to have some bluffs, but it's a weird one because we are very polarized here, because a lot of our range that 4-bets is got an ace in it. We could 4-bet bluff like ace 7 suited, some ace 5 suited some of the time, so we could have some ace queen offs potentially as bluffs, 4-bets, or mergy bluffs, but with ace king, we just want to bet shove against worse ace x as we're top of range. Facing this large size, like a min over bet. I mean, so this is where you have to ask yourself, like, visually to recreational players at 5-L, we look very weak. We really look weak. We really do. So, like, I don't think you get to fold. I know people don't generally overbet bluff. This is theoretically an overbet just. But, I mean, we've got an over, we've got a pair, we've got a flush draw. We block ace 3, which is a natural straight for value. We block pocket deuces, which is natural nut value. Villain's kind of saying they've got for value that like pocket 4s, 5-4, king 4, 3-6, ace 3. There are hands in there, but for a big blind defending range, they're so wide. I think I would call the turn and then decide what parts of my range I'd want to do to have as calls on the river. So I don't think we should fold the turn. If you think that population doesn't bluff here enough, then we can warrant potentially folding. I don't think I'd ever turn my hand into a bluff. It would either be call or fold, but I think I'd prefer calling the turn and playing rivers. We're going to check call table 1, which is really good. So apart from, I mean, I don't think population's ever 3-betting. I don't think they should either. They're not 3-betting 4s or 6s. Your villains are never 3-betting ace 4 suited, ace 6 suited at any frequency, I don't think. So I think villains got loads of really strong flush draws and loads of hands like really good ace x. So we just want to be betting big on the turn and jamming river for value. That's basically what we want to be doing. If villain's got pocket 9s or ace 9, good for him, but it really shouldn't, to be fair. Or at least that often for 9s. I like the chunky size. Easy open with the ace 9, of course. What happens here? We get jammed. Do we get jammed on? Effectively, yeah. Oh, yeah, he jams our effective stack. Cool. I'm not thrilled with this. This is a spot on PokerStars where against tight villains, I would fold here. Like, expecting to either chop, be free rolled against like ace king of clubs. Oh no, not free rolled, sorry. How can I be free rolled? I'm talking about my ass. Sorry, I forgot the ace is a club, so I can't be free rolled. But I would literally be expecting to be shown the same hand or be beat by like ace 9 and pocket 9s, and almost never be shown flush draws or like combos on the turn. If I was against like an unknown, I mean, I guess I just have to call. There's nothing else to say. But I can tell, like on PokerStars 2-0, 5-0 on the challenge, like this is almost always value of some kind, but or a chop. But yeah, nice. Like this is just an easy call, isn't it? Against unknowns in the pool. Your pool do seem to be quite wild and quite wide in a lot of spots. So that's what I'm at least seeing from this sort of first segment of hands. So, right, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the video here. We're going to do 2 parts because we've got another 15 minutes in the video. I think I had quite a long introduction. So we're going to stop here and we're going to move into part 2. So see you in the next one. Goodbye.